What's up, everyone? It's me, Lone. I hope you're doing all right. Fallout 76's next big expansion, Atlantic City America's Playground, is finally here, and I have a lot to say about it. I've already made several videos about this update, whether it's about the new season's pass system or the content itself, but what I want to do is make one big video that talks about everything. This is literally everything you need to know about Atlantic City America's Playground. I'll go through the new content, I'll talk about my review of that new content, I'll cover the changes to the season system and give my thoughts and opinions on those changes. I'll have a section about whether you should be playing this thing, so whether you're a hardcore 76 fan or you're a lapsed player and you're thinking about coming back, or maybe if you're a brand new player, I'll try and answer that for all of you. And finally, I'll be going through the patch notes of this update because a fair few things have changed and some bugs have been fixed and all that stuff. So hopefully by the end of this video, you know whether you want to play this expansion or not. So if you enjoy this video and you find it helpful, please like, subscribe if you're new, with notifications if that's possible, but let's get right into the video. All right, so first up, let's talk about this article on Bethesda.net. It is linked in the description below, and it's titled Fallout 76 Atlantic City America's Playground is available now. It starts off by saying Atlantic City America's Playground is a free update for Fallout 76, available for download now, and with it comes new quest lines, open exploration of Atlantic City, and a season full of adventurous rewards. Again, I'll talk about the patch notes later in this video, but what I do want to stress now is that this is a free update. For all the grievances that you might have with 76, and certainly I've talked about my grievances and faults of the game quite openly in recent videos, especially when it comes to the grind and the new season's pass system, right? With all that being said, what there does need to be a level of appreciation of, in my opinion, is the fact they've committed to releasing this stuff as free updates, right? How many years are we after the launch of the game and they're still releasing big expansions as free content? They could have quite easily gone down the path of releasing this stuff as paid for DLC. And in many ways, there are legitimate arguments for them to do so. I'm not advocating for it, mind you, but what I'm saying, there are some good arguments. If they release this stuff as paid content, they'd make more money from it, for sure. They could have the argument of adding more people to the team because they're making more money and make the content even bigger than what it is now. Maybe there'd be less of an incentive to make the game so grindy in different areas, like when it comes to the expeditions and the season's pass. There are some good arguments for them to make this stuff paid for. But even in light of that, they haven't done that. They've committed to releasing this stuff as free content, and I think that does need to be appreciated, even if it is a little bit. So that's what I'll say about that. But let's continue with the article. It says new quests and locations. So we're actually talking about the content now. America's Playground brings you back to Atlantic City, where Mayor Tim, in charge of the local municipal government, asks you to deal with the overgrown threat that is taking over the flooded city center. Don't forget to bring your gardening shears. Meanwhile, in Appalachia, the Russo family has evicted the Mothman cultists and turned the Ingram mansion into a swanky nightclub. They seem to be doing well after escaping their bloodstained past in Atlantic City, but beneath the surface of their glamorous exterior, the Russos are harboring some dark secrets and they need your help. There's a lot to dig into in this update, and along with new quests, we are introducing free exploration of Atlantic City. There are even new side quests that you can pick up from the ever-optimistic Jeremiah Hopkins bulletin board in the White Spring Resort, so make Atlantic City your next vacation destination. Take your time, wade through the flooded streets, stroll along the boardwalk, and stop to smell the overgrown. So that is all the new content that BGS has introduced with this new update, excluding the new season's pass system and the rewards available with that, right? But I'll talk about that in the next section. But when it comes to the actual content itself, what's my opinion of it? What's my review of the main quest line, the expeditions, the exploration, the story, the side quest, the location, and all that kind of stuff? Well, first, let's start off with the expeditions, right? Because a big reason Bethesda is releasing these, expansions is to introduce these repeatable expeditions that hopefully give us a reason to come back to the game again and again and again and keep playing it again and again and again, right? So there is a new expedition with this update called the Human Condition. That's in addition to the previous expeditions that were already available in Atlantic City, which you've probably played by now. So this expedition is where you have to help Mayor Tim and the municipal government fend off the overgrown, right? And it's all right the first time around. Don't get me wrong, the first time around, there's some story elements to it that make you feel like there's a reason to be doing this expedition. And it's a typical expedition. You're killing enemies, you are completing tasks, you're doing optional stuff to get even more rewards, there's a final boss, and then you leave, right? If you're used to the concept of expeditions, this is even more of that. And I'd say the expeditions are alright. I've said this before, they're better than the previous expeditions in the pit. So that is good, right? If you're a hardcore 76 player, you actually like expeditions, you like doing the same stuff to get more rewards, this is just more of that for you, and you'll probably be happy. However, for those of us that don't necessarily like expeditions, we don't like doing the same stuff over and over, and we're a little bit exhausted with the grind of 76, and I've personally talked about my experiences with being burnt out with this game because of the grind. If that's you, this is doing nothing for you. If you don't care for the new rewards available as part of these expeditions, this is doing absolutely nothing for you, yeah? So I'm not saying it's bad, I'm not saying that people won't enjoy doing the stuff. It depends where you are in the life cycle of 76. If you still love the grind, this is more grind for you, and there are some fun things to be done in these expeditions. If you don't care for that anymore, if you want new actual content and main quest lines, the expedition is not providing that to you, but what is potentially is the main quest. So let's talk about that next. So the plot of the main quest is essentially the Russo family, as they said in that article, has fled to Appalachia from Atlantic City, that's where they used to live, and they want to open a new nightclub, and they do in fact open that nightclub. They're trying to get people to attend it. But they have fled from Atlantic City due to a mysterious past they can't escape from. And you start to learn about that as you play this expansion and do the quests associated with it, right? Essentially, you are helping them out. And a big part of the storyline, slight spoilers here, but not really, they've already talked about this publicly, but it revolves around a dangerous chem called Devil's Blood, right? That's all I'll say about the actual plot. And in my opinion, it was a pretty solid questline. For what it was, I enjoyed it. It's about 3 to 4 hours long, for those of you wondering about that. I found it interesting, especially with the concept of Devil's Blood and the introduction or the inclusion of the mob. I really liked the characters in this expansion. I thought they were quite eclectic, whether it is the Russo family or the mob themselves. The mob is so damn funny. Some of the stuff that they were saying, I was genuinely laughing out loud at. So I really do like the characters. Plus as well, a big positive in my opinion, is that this expansion or this main questline is quite dialogue heavy, right? There's a lot to go through, a lot to listen to. And I think they really do try and build up these characters and make you get to know them and also like help them have a relationship between each other, right? You actually see them interact with each other quite nicely. I do like the questline of Atlantic City, America's Playground. There's also some elements of choice in this expansion, but none of it's going to have a huge consequence on Appalachia. It's pretty self-contained to the actual expansion itself. You do have some ability to choose, but once you've done that, that's pretty much it, and there's no real consequence to you. There's also a lot of combat sequences. I really like the main boss too. I wish that was a repeatable boss somewhere in Appalachia or somewhere in Atlantic City, because it was a cool boss. Now, there is some awkwardness here and there. I thought the reveal of the twist, there is a bit of a twist, that was really underwhelming to me. Not everything is perfect. I encountered a fair few bugs as I played through, Atlantic City, America's Playground and the main quest. Those might be resolved in the actual release version, and we'll talk about those fixes in the patch notes section. But overall, I did like the main quest, right? I enjoyed it for what it was. The downside is that you're probably going to finish this thing in like 1 or 2 sessions, right? And it's just not as big as previous updates used to be, like with Wastelanders, right? I wish this stuff was better. That's why I mentioned the argument that maybe if they made this stuff paid for, that we could get something even bigger, something like 8 to 10 hours. And I'd be much more satisfied even spending $10, $15 to play this thing for 8 to 10 hours versus getting it for free and only being able to play it for 1 night or 2 nights, if you know what I mean. Again, I'm not advocating for it, but I just wish there was a way to make this content even grander and bigger than what it is. And in my mind, the only way is to make it paid for. So let me know what you think in the comments below. I think that's a genuine argument and discussion that we should be having right now. But that's what I thought of the main quest line. All right, so next up we have the side quests. In this expansion, there are 3 different side quests you can complete. The first one is where you're helping track down a missing journalist that is chronicling the Blood Eagles. The second one is called Region of the Dead, where essentially you're helping play a part in passing on the torch within the inner circle of the mob or the family. I like that one, but by far the third one is the one that I enjoy the most. It is called Custodial Compulsions, where essentially you're helping a serial killer do his thing. It is very funny, quite different. It's by far the most enjoyable one, in my opinion, when it comes to this expansion. But overall, I did enjoy these side quests. In fact, there's an argument to be had that these side quests are probably even better than the main quest. Again, the only issue with these side quests is that there's only 3. And if you want to complete all of them together, it can take you about an hour or maybe an hour and a half if you take it a little bit slower. So is it that much of a criticism to say that I liked the side quests and I wanted more? Not necessarily, but it just goes to the larger argument that you're not getting all that much new content in terms of regular questing and whatnot in this expansion, but I liked what was there and it's free, so that is good, right? Next up, we have exploration. So again, you can fully explore Atlantic City now, whereas before you couldn't do that. You could only just do the expeditions and then leave. So there are 3 different locations that you can explore in Atlantic City. There's the flooded city center, the casino quarter, and the boardwalk. And there are 3 different factions or groups that control these different areas. So when it comes to the casino quarter, that is controlled naturally by the mob or the family. The municipal government controls the flooded city center, and the showmen are the ones running the boardwalk. It's essentially the entertainment quarter of Atlantic City. So I thought it was nice to explore. I thought this was actually a really cool, compact location. I enjoyed exploring. I enjoyed seeing all the things there was to do. Namely, that is really gambling in the casinos. It's like Fallout New Vegas. You can go in, do some slots, gamble a little bit. That's probably the most fun of it when it comes to just general exploration. And I did like how the lore of New Jersey within the wider context of the Fallout franchise was expanded on a little bit, so that was nice. But there's not all that much to do and people to talk to, right? Really, as I mentioned, it's just the gambling is like the main thing that you can do aside from some other stuff. Overall, I wish there was a little more to do. That's like the story of this expansion, right? I liked what was there on paper, and for what it is, it's fine. But I just want more of it. I want more and more and more. And maybe I'm too greedy and selfish in that regard. I don't know, but that's the exploration. Those are the side quests, and that is the main quest of Atlantic City, America's Playground. All right, so next up, let's go back to that Bethesda.net article because they talk about the new season, Season 16, and all the changes they've made to the season system. So this is what they have to say. Season 16, Duel with the Devil begins today, and this time the theme is an epic fight between Rip Daring of Astoundingly Awesome Tales fame and the Jersey Devil. You will also notice we have made some changes to seasons. The scoreboard has been replaced by pages where you can see all the rewards that are available. As you complete challenges and earn score, you will rank up and unlock new pages. For each rank, you earn 25 tickets. You can then redeem those tickets for rewards on pages you have already unlocked. In addition, we are now offering the Fallout First Seasons Pass. If you are already a Fallout First member, you will automatically get the Seasons Pass and access to premium rewards. Players who are not Fallout First members will still have access to the base rewards. You also have the option of purchasing the Fallout First Seasons Pass in the Atomic Shop, so you can get the premium rewards too. Alright, so what do I think about this new Seasons Pass system? Again, I have talked about this in a previous video, so I'm not going to labor the point, but I do want to reiterate it here because it's important. It's important when it comes to deciding whether you actually want to engage with this system or not, as opposed to just doing the main quest and the side quest and the expedition, right? So what do I think? Starting off with the positives, technically on paper, this kind of season system when it comes to pages and tickets and all that kind of stuff technically is more flexible than the previous system when it comes to obtaining rewards. The downsides with scoreboards, and I like scoreboards, don't get me wrong, I wish they were staying, they were quirky, they were different, but the downside with scoreboards is that yes, you were forced to get the rewards one by one, piece by piece, right? There was no way of saving up tickets to get the rewards that you actually cared about. You had to go through the scoreboard pace by pace. Whereas with the new system, you can save up your tickets. As you're ranking up to rank 100 and beyond, you can save up your tickets to get the rewards that you actually care about, that you think are cool. So you're not getting a bunch of rewards that you don't care about. You feel like your tickets are being spent in the right place. So technically, on paper, it makes it more flexible. There is a caveat to this. I will talk about that in the negative section. But on paper, this system is not necessarily bad. It matters in the execution, and I don't necessarily mind the concept of it, right? So that's one of the positives. The next one I'll say is that the quality of the rewards, I believe, are either on par or better than the previous seasons. There are some cool rewards there with the camp items and the new weapon and stuff like that. You might disagree, but I don't think anyone's going to be shocked by the quality of the rewards available in Season 16. Well, let's talk about the negatives. The first negative is that even though the number of rewards overall are very similar to the previous seasons, technically, when you get to similar ranks, you are getting less rewards at those stages. So the main culprit being rank 100. So in the previous system with scoreboards, Once you got to rank 100, you were getting over 100 rewards if you didn't have Fallout First. But if you did have Fallout First, you were getting over 150 again at that stage, at rank 100. But when you get to rank 100 in this system, at that stage, you're only opening up the ability to get over 130 rewards if you have Fallout First, and less than that if you don't have Fallout First, right? And the issue is that, especially because that last page and all the rewards on there are very, very expensive, practically you're not able to get 130 rewards even once you reach rank 100, right? You're getting even less than that, and again, even less if you don't have Fallout First. So how long does it actually take you to get to the stage where you can actually get all the rewards like you could before at rank 100? You're going to have to get to rank 150 because you only get 25 tickets per rank, and to get all the rewards, you need to get 3,735 tickets, right? So only by rank 150 do you have that many tickets. You'll have 3,750 tickets at rank 150. That's why it's more grindy. That's why you have to get to a higher rank to be able to get the same amount of rewards like you could get in previous scoreboards and in previous seasons. So that is my first big issue with it. I know why they're doing it. They want people to play the game more. Business-wise, totally get it. But in terms of grind, it's just introducing more grind, and that's one of the biggest issues that I have with 76 at the moment. So that's the first negative. The second negative is that you're getting less atoms, especially if you don't have Fallout First. Before, with previous scoreboards, if you didn't have Fallout First, you could get about 2,000 atoms. But in this system, if you don't have Fallout First, you can only get about 1,000 atoms. So you're getting less free atoms, so less ability to purchase the items that you want and to get the new season's pass and stuff like that. And I think that is a bit of a shame. And especially by the time you get to the repeatable rewards, like remember when you got to rank 100 in the previous scoreboard, you can keep grinding to getting repeatable rewards again and again and again. And as part of that, atoms were included as part of the roster. But with this season, we don't have the access to that. We don't have the access to keep getting, repeatable atoms rewards by the time we even get to rank 150. So not only is it really hard to get to rank 150 for most people, not only do you have to claim a certain number of rewards to even open that page in the first place, but by the time you even get there, you still can't get atoms as part of that, whether you have Fallout First or not. So overall, with this new system, you are getting less atoms, so you're going to have to spend more real money to be able to get the same amount of atoms like you got before. So that's the second negative. And the third negative is what I touched on before. That last page where you have all the consumables, even though it doesn't even have atoms as part of it, there's an extra requirement to even open that page up. Not only do you have to get to page 150, you also have to claim 95 rewards previously. So even though I said the system was technically more flexible because you can save your tickets to get the rewards that you want, if you want to open up that last page, it definitely makes it less flexible because you are being forced to buy rewards that you don't necessarily want just to be able to open up that page. So those are the positives, those are the negatives. Let me know what you think about that in the comments below. All right, so now it's time for the most important part of this video. Should you play it? Should you be playing Fallout 76 Atlantic City America's Playground? And again, I think the answer does differ depending upon whether you're a new player or a current player or a lapsed player that's looking to come back. It also matters whether or not you own the game. If you own the game, then this thing is free for you, right? If you don't own the game, but you're looking to play it, you either need to spend the money on getting the game or you need to have Game Pass and be able to pick it up as part of your subscription, right? So I'll try and differentiate between all those scenarios as much as I can. If you already own the game, right, whether you haven't even played it yet, or you're a lapsed player, or you're a current player, there is no risk for you because, as I said at the beginning of this video, this piece of content is absolutely free. If you were to pick it up, try it, give it a go, and you don't like it, then who cares? Your wallet is not any lighter at the end of the tunnel. But if you do try it and you actually like it, you like the rewards, you like the questing and the storyline and all that kind of stuff, then you've just experienced this piece of content, this new expansion, without spending any real money whatsoever. So there's no real risk to you. You're not losing any money. You're not going to regret your purchase or anything like that. However, the exception is if you actually really value your time. If you really value your time and nothing here is exciting you, if you haven't been excited about 76 in a while, you don't like the grind, you don't like expeditions, then I would think twice about playing it because you probably want to do something else with your time, whether it's playing another game or doing a hobby or whatever it might be. If you just don't care about 76 anymore, this is not getting you out of bed. But if you have even the slightest interest and you already own the game, then there are no downsides to giving it a go. And I think there are a good portion of people that will like things about this expansion. It's not perfect. I wish it was longer, but if that is you, I think there is a good chance you will at least enjoy your time and you'll move on with your life. But if you don't currently own 76, I don't think this is a reason to buy the game. Unless you are on Xbox or PC with Game Pass and you can get it through there, through your subscription, then yeah, absolutely give it a go. You're not spending any extra money to be able to experience it. But if you do not own 76 and you've always been scared off to play the game because you heard how it was at launch and you like Fallout 4 and Fallout 3 and other kinds of traditional BGS games, I find it really hard to recommend you purchasing the game just to experience Atlantic City America's Playground. You need to look at the whole package. You need to look at that and Still Dawn and Still Rain and Wastelanders and all the changes they've made to the game, and that's going to be the better way of you making your decision. This one expansion is not a reason to buy the game, in my opinion, but a bunch of you already own it, so give it a go because it's completely free. Alright, so that was my assessment and rundown of Atlantic City America's Playground. Hopefully it helped you decide whether you want to play and experience this thing or not. But finally, let's get to the patch notes. Those are linked in the description below. They're titled Fallout 76 Atlantic City America's Playground Update Notes. This is update version 1.7.10.12. The download sizes are, if you're on PC Steam, 17.1 gigabytes, but if you're on the Microsoft Store for PC, it's 27.1 gigabytes. On Xbox, very similar, 27.08 gigabytes, and on PlayStation, 26.1 gigabytes. Now for the actual bug fixes and improvements. Starting off with art, they fixed preview of the snare drum, accordion, and guitar. They fixed a graphical issue with ultrasight laser beams when using the beam focuser mod. Hold on, is this the fix? Did they finally fix the color issue when you had the beam focuser mod? Do you remember that one where it changed from green to red? Oh my god. Someone please confirm this with me in the comments below. And this has been an issue for years, for literal years. I was working at Bethesda at the time. Oh my god, it's actually being fixed. Anyways, they fixed an issue with certain Fashion Up masks not properly displaying in the display case. They fixed carry and throw previews in the Pip-Boy. For tax evasion, they added Cap's icon for the stolen winnings when viewed in the inventory menus, and they added a new preview when you transform miscellaneous item to wet floor sign. For camps, they have added additional camp slots for purchase. That is good to see. A lot of people have been asking for additional camp slots because you have so many rewards now, so many camp items, and you can't use them in the camp slots that you have. So if you want more, you can buy them. Some people might be critical that they're available for purchase, but they're going to make money somehow. So I think this is a good choice for Bethesda Game Studios. Good on them for introducing more camp slots. But moving on for gameplay, the mechanical derby game inside of the Showman's Pier arcade now provides an intelligence buff. Aquarium sign now grants proper amount of plastic when scrapping. Fixed an issue where players would see the word chain displaying on screen after using certain weapons. I remember seeing that one. Players can navigate the map using movement buttons rather than just arrow keys. Nice. Fixed an issue preventing the user from firing in VATS when they swap their mouse buttons. Fixed an issue causing NPCs to remain invulnerable when not expected to. And fixed an issue causing expedition team members to be removed from an expedition. So that's obviously really important now that there's a new expedition in this expansion. They've made some fixes when it comes to localizations. I won't labor on that. But for quests, there are a lot of quest fixes. First up, they added additional quest intro animations. Municipal auditor subtitle names are now consistent between enemies. For a better tomorrow, they fixed an issue that prevented the quest from resetting properly. For the most sensational game, the quest is no longer blocked when resuming an expedition on the first objective. Really good to see that fix. For Wayward Souls, they fixed an issue that would cause Duchess to loop dialogue forever if the player chose the luck option when confronting Batter. Quest targets should now correctly point between Atlantic City and Appalachia locations. Thank God they fixed that one too. That was an issue in the BTS. Continued balance changes and iteration in key quest combat encounters. Fixed several issues with resuming speaking to NPCs after logging off during a quest objective. Fixed additional checkpointing bugs when logging out during certain quest objectives. And continued balance, I think I read that one already. They include it twice. Systems, we've got fixed the naming of the handmade rifle aligned grip. Energy weapons now get plus 65% damage bonus to Scorch from Prime Receiver to make it consistent with other weapons. That's a nice little change. Berry Mentats should work properly with Chem Fiend level 1 perk. Headlamps for the X01, T45, T60, and T51 and Raider power armor are now attachable to power armor helmets once again. I didn't realize that was an issue. Good thing they fixed it. The West Virginia slot machine UI now requests the original 10 cap entry cost and deducts the original 10 cap amount per activation. Purveyor Mamur will only reward Union Power Armor pieces once the plans have been learned. Atlantic City vendors will no longer open the trade menu automatically when talked with. Fixed a bug where Protest Sign melee weapon had the symbol of a pistol in the quick inventory menu. Changed the text of the lock and load perk card to reflect the actual buffs to heavy weapons, reload speed of 20, 40, 60 rather than the displayed 10, 20 and 30% speed. Good change. Fixed an issue where the robot Stein displays could not be built in the camp even when the player has previously learned the plan. Reduced damage of the Robobrain smoke bomb attack. I didn't really think that was an issue. They standardized backpad mod names. Player can now eat meat or a corpse and receive 2 times of the benefits, including better hunger fulfillment when having the carnivore mutation. I don't know who uses that mutation. Anyways, and they fixed an error in the mutant's ultrasight right arm description. With the UI, strike-throughs are now more accurate on large dynamic bundles. They fixed a UI issue with flyouts disappearing after the player opens the map. Fixed an issue where the place a marker button was incorrectly starting the next expedition when looking at the map. Fixed a bug causing the expedition marker to occasionally appear when making your character. And fixed an issue where a legendary item model stayed on screen for longer than expected. For the world, they have fixed various item textures and floating objects. For miscellaneous, they fixed an issue around time-gated expedition rewards not properly resetting. Players now receive a reward for matching 3 thumb symbols for the Atlantic City slot machine. Well, that's a good thing. Fixed an issue where NPCs didn't have collision while sitting. Fixed an issue preventing certain overgrown from being properly decapitated. Pollinators should now correctly explode when killed. Several adjustments were made to equipped items and apparel on certain NPCs. Cleaned up several typos and subtitle spoken dialogue mismatches, removed some extra plans from Giuseppe's vendor inventory, and finally adjusted NPC placement and spacing in a few key conversations. But that is it. I've been recording this for almost 2 hours. I hope this video isn't too long. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, this has been the Lonebot Wanderer. Please take care of yourselves, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight. Fuck, it's done. God damn it.